All right, welcome to another edition of Pittsburgh Sportsline Live. Sorry about the confusion here. We're in the live studio at BPTV. I'm Al Levine, the talking machine. Chip Hayner's with me. Smoking Jim Frazier. I guess we'll show them in a second or two. But thank you for watching our show. You can see us on Comcast 7, only in Bethel Park. Verizon 32 in Bethel Park, and all the way from Nemacolin to Cranberry, Wexford, and all points in between. Thanks for all the Facebook likes. We appreciate that. Excuse me, there, a little pizza from Olive Oil's Pizzeria was in my throat. Got rid of that. We have 6,771 likes on Facebook, so thanks for those likes. They've been fluctuating up and down between that and about 6,780, so we appreciate you. Got a great show for you tonight. I got some promos that I'd like to do. Can I get that started? Zach, can you come out while I get a promo? Can you tie into this promo with that first camera?
Of course.
All right, we'll get them to pull up on that, folks. I know you're looking at me. Thank you very much. What do you need, Zach? You gonna pull a close up on this?
It is. Oh,
It's not showing.
Get it on. Yeah.
Still not. There it is. Olive Oil's Pizzeria sponsors our show with a pizza and a hoagie. 412-831-1900. Thanks to Frank Fanera for sponsoring our show. We appreciate you. We got a lot of little difficulties here with some technology. We got Zach Taylor here. We got Jack with us, so we're in good hands. We'll get this corrected. I'll go to my next promo. The Bethel Park Historical Society Arts and History Center, right there, 2600 South Park Road. They got a lot of activities there. They're a 501c3. You can donate money there. Check out the events they have coming up. I think they got Santa Claus and Mrs. Claus coming there like December 15th. So mark your calendars for that, or just go to their website, BethelParkHistoricalSociety.org. Check it out. This is the Schoolhouse Arts and History Center. We end each show with Stay Joey Strong. Joey Favis was a cancer victim, DIPG. It took his life before he was 9 years old. Here's a picture with him before DIPG and after he had DIPG. They've done a lot of great things over the last 4 years, raised over $100,000 for research for finding a cure for DIPG. So check them out. They are a 501c3. Next, we have the Community Foundation. It's bpcommunityfoundation.org. Check them out. They have money for your group from $100 to $5,000 for your group in the Bethel Park area that's doing good things in our community. Go to bpcf.org, get an application, and then apply for money. That's how simple it is. Dave Cable likes to have a little fun at my expense. He put my face on Uncle Sam. Uncle Al wants you for BPTV, 412-831-3304. Tell Dave Cable that Uncle Al told you to volunteer. Help us out like Jack and like Zach. We got the Jack and Zach team, so we can't go wrong with that. And we're going to start our show with What's on Your Mind. This is sponsored by Skeets Lewandowski of Skeets Service Station. You can take that camera off of me, put me on the first camera, guys, in the control room. Camera number 1. Put me on camera 1. There we go. We're back. Call 724-348-4715 at Skeets Service Station. Check that out, and then we're going to need Zach on camera when we do What's on Your Mind. That's Skeets sponsors that. Anything that runs on gas, he takes care of it. And we're going to start with What's on Your Mind, Smoking Jim Frazier.
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. And if you want the green,
Coming at you.
you got to see Levine. I feel like Juju right there.
You don't look like him doing that.
But hey, before I get started, when is the award ceremony?
You can't
for
make it. It's
BPTV?
on Thursday the 13th.
The 13th.
Yeah, we're not even going to tease you because you're busy.
Thursday the 13th. That's a bad day. Okay.
But thanks for asking.
Hey, I've been saying all year long that the Pittsburgh Steelers would be one and done at 9-7-1, and with New Orleans, New England, and
Hold it. We're
San
going
Diego
back
Chargers.
to the first tapes of the year where the Steelers don't want to be great.
They just want to be
8-8. We're checking those tapes right now.
Right after the first week, I said 9-7-1. They'll be one
I
and
never
done
heard
at
that.
9-7-1.
We're checking those
Well, they
tapes.
can't be 9-7-1
Yeah,
because that would
one
be
and done.
17 games.
Yeah, one and done at 9-7-1. I don't make any mistakes. They'll make the playoffs and get beat in the first round. One and
okay.
done.
All right,
at
how about your Super
9-7-1.
Bowl MVP?
Huh? The Rams is still good. The Raiders is out of it. But hey, real quick on the Pittsburgh Steelers, I know we're talking about it. I've been saying all along the Pittsburgh Steelers have been missing Martavis Bryant, and it's very evident. They need a third receiver.
Not even close.
Listen, this is what they're missing. They've
They're
always had
missing James Washington catching the ball.
they have always had a speed receiver as a number 3 guy. You know, the balls that these other receivers are diving for, Martavis Bryant, Mike Wallace, and Nate Washington would have to slow down to catch those. They're all 4.3 or faster guys. Big Ben and the Pittsburgh Steelers are great in the red zone, but Big Ben is the worst quarterback in the NFL from the 10-yard line in. He's throwing more interceptions than any other
He only has
quarterback.
12. Him and Fitzpatrick are tied.
But from the 10-yard line in, yeah. Now,
There is one worse.
Yeah.
from the 10-yard line in,
Sam Darnold.
in the red zone, Big Ben is bad. That's where 6'5" Martavis Bryant will come in. But that's for Steeler talk. That's my opinion. I've been saying it all year, and it's been proven correct. But here I have my top 10 Pittsburgh Steeler all-time greatest running backs.
Hold it. There were 20 on that list.
10D. Rashad Fumbling Mendenhall, James Connors, looking more and more like him. How about 10C? Chuck Sanders. 10D. Dig Hoke. 10. Preston Pearson. How about 9C?
How many years did Preston Pearson play for the Steelers?
How about 9C? Cannonball Butler. How
He didn't answer me.
He can't.
How about 9B? How about 9B?
Did he make it to training camp?
Foo at 9B. You arguing with that?
Did Preston Pearson make it through training camp?
Preston Pearson played a lot here. How about number 9, Bam Morris? How about 8B, James Conner? Rashad Mendenhall, same guy. A lot of fumbles. How about number 8, Fast Willie Parker? How about number 7B, D'Angelo Williams? How about number 7, Frenchie Fuqua? Can't argue with that. How about number 6, B, Merrill Hodge? How about number 6, Ernest Jackson? What a great running back he was. How about number 5B, LeGarrette Blount, 3-time Super Bowl champion? How about number 5, 4-time Super Bowl champion Rocky Bleier? Who can argue with that? How about number 4, the bus, Jerome Bettis, who bought me dinner already this year? How about number 3, another Hall of Famer, John Henry Johnson? Number 2B, Le'Veon Bell. Boy, does the Pittsburgh Steelers miss him right now. How about number 2, Hall of Famer Franco Harris? And number 1, the greatest running back in Pittsburgh Steeler history that has an NFL record that will never be broken, 12 100-yard games in one season. Him and Eric Dickerson hold that record. It will never be broken. The Steelers' single-season rushing record holder, Barry Foster from Arkansas.
I'm glad you could get all that out.
And that's my top 10 Pittsburgh Steelers running backs. That's a tight list.
That is so loose. It's the opposite of tight.
It doesn't even warrant a comment.
Thank you, Smoking Jim Frazier.
I had 150 of them on Facebook. Everybody liked it, most of them.
Well, here's what Smoking Jim does on Facebook.
Trolls.
Now here, I'm gonna hook you. I want to hook you. Oh, you don't agree with me?
I don't fall into that trap.
Thank you very much. Me and you both, Chip. Thanks to Smoking Jim Fraser. Chip Hayner, what's on your mind?
No, thank you. Good evening, everybody. What's on my mind? I would like to wish a very happy birthday to the city of Pittsburgh, 260 years old today. Happy
didn't know.
birthday, Pittsburgh.
I didn't know that.
You want to ask me what's on my
1758.
mind?
1758.
Didn't know that.
1758.
What's on my mind? Okay, let's just start. After the Steelers stepped on their foot, for lack of a better way to put it, Sunday against the Broncos, Tomlin can't coach. Roethlisberger can't pass. James Conner can't hold on to the ball. So, that being said, the Steelers are going to crush the Los Angeles Chargers Sunday night without any question about it. Melvin Gordon will be watching the game from the sidelines. He's got a sore a bad knee. But, I find it very amusing. 6 weeks, all of the haters were quiet. We win 6 games in a row, everybody's quiet, right? And then we lose 1 game, and everybody's a genius, and everybody knows how to coach a team, and everybody knows how to draft, and everybody knows what plays to call. They're all offensive coordinators. But I just find it amusing. The only thing I learned from watching Sunday's game is that the one thing that would surely bring the Steelers a championship season this year will be Ben Roethlisberger. And the one thing that will make the Steelers not win a championship this year is also Ben Roethlisberger, more than anything
said,
else,
Chip.
But hey, we love them when they win, and we hate them when they lose. But they're going to get back on the winning track. Watching that game, the first thing that made me scratch my head is, hasn't anybody learned that anytime that Roethlisberger throws the ball 50-plus times a game, the Steelers generally lose? But, that's just an observation of
Wait till I
of
get
mine.
to mine. I'll be talking the same type
So,
of stuff.
I'm not worried about the Steelers. Unlike Jim, I think the Steelers have a better than average chance to make some noise this year. The AFC, I feel it's a pretty wide open field. After watching the Houston Texans last night win their 8th game in a row, what did they start the season out at? 0-3. 0-3. 8-3. Deshaun Watson is the real deal. DeAndre Hopkins is one of the top receivers. So watch out for TJ's big brother, because I think the Steelers and the Texans are going to go head-to-head at some point this year.
You heard it,
and
folks.
that
a
will be
prediction.
fun to watch to see if the brothers can one-up one another. But it's the Christmas holiday season, and I got a gift this past weekend. And, gifts are blessings in disguise. But, I watched the big game in the Big Ten on Saturday. Wasn't it fun to watch Jim Harbaugh get tattooed by that scumbag in Columbus, Urban Meyer?
Why is he even
And he
coaching?
didn't even just get beaten. He got beat like he was a stepchild. So there you go. Now here's the thing that's interesting, because I was explaining to somebody why beating Ohio State is important for a Michigan football coach. See, you could go 1-11 every year that you're the head coach in Michigan, as long as that one win is against Ohio State. Now, Jim Harbaugh, he usually wears his welcome out. It's usually about 4 to 5 years, and by that point, people are done with him. So as he is completing his 4th season in Ann Arbor, he handed the Michigan alum another embarrassing loss to Ohio State. Here you got a team 11-0, comes rolling into Columbus, and came limping out like they got beat. So that's one of my early Christmas presents. And there are some other Christmas gifts that I would like to see. I see the Baltimore Ravens have thrown me another one because John Harbaugh will be looking for a new job come the end of the season. But they are going to give him the dignity of helping him finish out the season. Not making the playoffs in 3 of the last 4 years. And this year will be 4 out of the last 5. I think that's going to be one too many. So you know what? I'd rather have a coach whose worst years are not so great, but are 8-8, than somebody that can't make it to the playoffs consistently.
Well said, Chip.
And the other Christmas present that I'm waiting for, and if only this could be true, I have this little birdie whispered in my ear that after watching the Cincinnati Bengals get obliterated by the Cleveland Browns, and their former head coach is getting game balls from the Browns players. The Browns starting quarterback, who was drafted by the offensive coordinator for the Cincinnati Bengals, wouldn't even shake his hand. I think this is great. Marvin Lewis, after 16 years of not winning a single solitary playoff game, may finally just step down on his own because Mike Brown, the owner of the Cincinnati Bengals, will not fire him. Please, Marvin, step down and make Hugh Jackson your next head coach. That would be about the best gift a Steelers fan could ask for, because I've never seen a worse coach in the history of organized sports than Hugh Jackson. So I just, my Christmas wish list, and a number of them are check, and I'm waiting on that last one.
Can I ask you guys a question real quick before we go to El Levine, the talking machine? I think that you mentioned J.J. and T.J. Watt, but there's another Watt, the starting fullback for the Los Angeles Chargers, is T.J. Watt's brother as well. So I don't want to see the brothers going at it. If I'm the San Diego Chargers, if I'm the mom,
The Los Angeles Chargers.
Yeah, Los Angeles Chargers. When you want to deactivate maybe the fullback so the brothers don't go head to head, that could be cause bad blood.
Well, why not just deactivate TJ, because he only gets sacks against the Cleveland Browns? Unless you want to put an orange helmet on him.
I think he's the best linebacker in Steeler history.
Yeah.
First one
right
since
up there,
2010 got
yeah.
He got double-digit sacks.
Right
this
up
year.
there with Barry Foster, right? Top of the
All right,
list.
machine.
Top
As
of the
always,
list.
thanks for your insights, Smoky Jim.
Top of the
And
list.
bad blood. Well, I appreciate it. Their mom is going to root for each one individually, no problem. Just like your mom would.
I wouldn't
Root
play
for
against
you.
my brothers. I wouldn't play against my
You
brothers.
couldn't. You were on the same team. with me. Come on, man. We'll come back with Fiction and Fact, and then Steelers will be end of the night. You're welcome. What's on my mind? I'm going to make it 3 for 3. The Steelers. I forget what I predicted the Steelers would do, but I'm watching the game, and I see 1 pass. I see 2 passes. I see 3 passes. I see 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then a missed field goal. And I just kept it to myself, and I go, we didn't run the ball once against one of the worst 27th ranked running defenses in the league. Now, I'm not a coach. I'm not the brightest guy. I bleed black and gold. But I didn't win 6 Super Bowls, so I let them play on the field. So I watched that series, and I thought to myself, they're just picking them apart, passing. So I watched some more of it. 11, 12, 13, 15, 18, 20 passes. And I'm like, man, this is like easy. Then I see a 97-yard touchdown pass to a guy that's not really fast. They talk bad about him, that he doesn't have the speed. But how does he run past these guys that have 4.3 speed? I'm shocked by that. But as earlier was said, they don't want to be great, but we'll see what happens. So who knows? But Juju's been playing great. Brown, they've been double, triple covering him like it's unbelievable. He has what they call plaster on him. That's what these players call it. They plaster themselves to the receiver. But when you look, he's plastered front and back. And then I'm looking at a running back, who's running wild down the field with one of his few carries, gets hit up into the air, and the ball comes loose. I'm like, man, we got a fumbling machine here now, because this is ridiculous. Years past, when they fumbled 3 times in a year, 4 times in a year, they called him a fumbler. We haven't even heard anything like that. And I'm running, why aren't they running James Conner? And I keep watching the game, waiting for that to happen. I'm watching the defense. I'm watching Big Ben throw his picks. And then I'm watching a pass go to a wide open Grimble that I can't even believe this play even happened. They fooled him so badly. The passing game's working in spite of my saying the 27th ranked running defense. The guy's running down the field, nobody near him, and he decides to run into the one guy that's near him, and he gets the ball knocked out of him. How does that even happen? So I'm like, I'm thinking back, what are we taught? You got to get interceptions, you got to get fumbles. What are we doing? We're giving interceptions, we're giving fumbles. 3 interceptions, 2 fumbles. And then we're expecting to win. Big Ben's throwing high balls all over the place, whatever. But that's Big Ben. A couple times the guys are dropping the ball for the defense. So I'm watching the game thinking, man, how are we going to win this? Then I'm looking at the last series of the game, and we don't run the ball. One time we ran the ball on a stupid run play, and I'm thinking, for what, 4 weeks in a row, we had the best running back in the league, even better than Bell, and he's not even touching the ball. So now he throws a ball to a guy that got knocked 5 yards off the ball by Pouncey. When do you see a defensive lineman get blown out straight back? And you can see it as plain as day. He's standing there. Big Ben throws the ball right to him, and flashing behind him, I see it in the flash. Then they showed the replay. There's a guy in front of Brown who could have caught a pass also. So I'm like, who was he even throwing and why? Then I heard that he didn't really see it. And who would think he'd throw to a guy that got knocked 5 yards off the wall? Unbelievable. Pouncey knocked the heck out of this guy, and he caught the ball.
Maybe you should ask the offensive coordinator. He's the guy that's wearing the jersey that's number 7.
Well, he was talking in Ben's headphone, giving him some suggestions.
Right, yeah.
And I'm not an offensive coordinator, but
Neither is Ben.
well, my thing is, all the players can do is do the plays that they're given. And oh, by the way, Ben can call audibles. And I heard him on his talk radio show on The Fan today, and he said he wished he would have called Juju's number 4 plays in a row instead of 3. And it's on him that he threw the interception, but who would think a lineman would get blocked back into where the ball was going? And I rest my case. The Steelers, too many interceptions and fumbles. The running game, who knows? Conner actually didn't do too badly except for that fumble again. That's his 4th fumble in 266 carries.
Wow.
So he's a fumbler.
Wow.
And that happens, folks. But he will be back, and Steelers beat Chargers. I'm with Chip. We'll come back to some fiction and fact from Smoking Jim's Almanac.
Great job, guys.
Yeah.
Hey, it's Christine from Bethel Park Library. I want to tell you about a great fundraiser we have going on. You can take home a print of this cute sloth painted by local artist Maria Prasic, was inspired by Vivian, the sloth that lives at the National Aviary. The original painting will be housed at the Bethel Park Library forevermore, but you can own a 16 by 20 print for $50. You can purchase it at the Bethel Park Public Library or through the library's website at bethelparklibrary.org.
Did you see how good Jacksonville looked this past weekend?
No.
Most triumphant.
No
That was
commercial.
quick.
I'm up.
You're up.
All right. Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. Thanks, Chip Hayner. Thanks, Jack. Thanks to Rookie of the Year, Zach Taylor, my main man. But hey, Saturday, December 1st, I get the chance to make my first legal bet. So I tell you what, by the end of the year, by the end of 2019, I'll be driving a Bentley. The Rivers Casino got sports gambling now, so you'll be seeing me over there all the time.
You'll be,
Wasn't there 30% cut from the state on each bet?
That's what I got to give up?
Yeah.
Wow, I don't
You
know.
better go to your bookie.
I've been dodging him. But
Yeah,
anyhow,
state laws 30% they pay.
so Jim's gonna
Right
be
off the top.
Jim's gonna be hitting me up for that good loan.
you got that roll?
Yeah, because somebody's
I'll
gonna be
flipping
broke by
for you.
Christmas. Somebody's gonna be broke by Christmas.
Well, here we go.
Merry Christmas.
Fiction and fact from Smoking Jim's Almanac goes back to 2004. Back
14 years.
in, is that all it was?
Yeah.
14, 15 years ago.
14. This
14.
is 18.
This is 18.
04.
In April to be how many? 15.
That's it.
15. So we'll go back 14 years, 14 and a half years ago,
Okay.
or better. Yeah, in the war room with the Pittsburgh Steelers, don't forget that year, there was great pressure on the Pittsburgh Steelers to draft a quarterback because they haven't really drafted a quarterback in the first round since Bradshaw in 1970. A lot of people don't count the first round pick of Mark Malone in 1980. So it was about 34 years before they really got a quarterback. So there's a lot of pressure. Bill Cowher and his coaching staff coached in a Senior Bowl. A guy that played at North Carolina State, Phillip Rivers, Coach Cowher fell in love with. Do you guys know how Phillip Rivers developed his ability to throw? Did you
tell
know?
us.
No.
His daddy, and congratulations again, Father's Day, Phillip Rivers. He got 8 kids to the same woman. So good job, setting a good example for the NFL and the NBA. But Phillip Rivers' dad coached for 30 years high school football. So Phillip Rivers was his water boy at 4 and 5 years old from the time he was 4 or 5 years old. So he's throwing a full-size football at 4 or 5, and the only way he could throw it is like this, and he always kept throwing it like that. So here's a little, that's
Thank
a little,
you.
yeah. So anyhow, Bill Cowher's doing everything he can. He fell in love with Phillip Rivers, who currently has 9 seasons of 4,000 plus passing
And
yards.
he was also from Bill Cowher's.
College, yeah. North Carolina
yeah.
State.
He was Bill Cowher's a North Carolina State alum.
Yes, he is. Good point on that, Chip. So Phillip Rivers was supposed to be like a mid to late first round draft pick, but he kept picking up steam after the season. He had a good career at NC State, but not a great career because Russell Wilson broke all his records in 3 years. So he had a good career at NC State, but not a great career. But after the season, the momentum started with the size he got and the leadership ability. He goes down to the Senior Bowl game and was lights out, so he started moving up towards the top 10. Pittsburgh Steelers got the 11th pick. Bill Cowher's trying to do everything he can to trade up, but the San Diego Chargers backstabbed him by grabbing Eli Manning, who refused to play for them. So they got a deal with the Giants, and the Giants took Phillip Rivers with the 4th pick and kind of traded those guys. So the Steelers only reluctantly drafted Ben Roethlisberger, who happened to be my number 1 rated quarterback of that draft. And I was on the phone with Big Ben talking about Jacob Bell, his offensive tackle. We talked for a long time. But the Pittsburgh Steelers looked at Ben like Chuck Noll looked at Mark Malone. He was going to play on the bench for a long time. Charlie Batch was the backup, and turnover Tommy was the starting quarterback. Both of them got hurt within the first 2 games. Big Ben went in there, and the rest is history. Both or first ballot Hall of Famers, and I disagree with you both. I'm putting money at Rivers Casino on the Los Angeles Chargers to beat the Pittsburgh Steelers along with New England and New Orleans.
There's
But that's
anything-
a fiction and fact from Smoking Jim's Almanac.
If there's anything
Don't argue with my
consistent-
money. Money on the
if
wood
there's
is always
anything
good.
consistent about Philip Rivers' career,
You mean 53,000 yards that he passed?
53,000 yards, and he doesn't win the
300
big game. And he never
363?
won the big game. And he
363?
never won the big game.
What? How many big games did Ted Williams win in baseball? Greatest player of all time. Ted Williams. Ted Williams, greatest player of all time. One of the greatest players of all time. How many big games Ted Williams win?
We're not talking about Ted Williams. We're talking about football.
That's the same thing. You're talking about the big game. Ted Williams
Well,
never
yeah, but we're
won
talking
anything,
about a
and he's
guy that's
great.
coming to play here on Sunday that's a big game, who's failed in every big game that he's ever played in.
Huh? The team. It's a team sport. I'm talking about who. They only got 3 losses this year. It's a great team. But I agree with you, Chip, in this. If you look at the Houston Texans schedule, I've never seen 5 easier games. They should run the table.
There's a reason why they play them, Jim.
Thank you, Smoking Jim
I'm going to be betting.
Thanks, Smoking Jim Frazier. Trivia.
Hi, Bethel Park. Uncle Al speaking. I'm asking you to come help us behind the scenes at BP TV. We're looking for some proud Bethel Park residents to help us make the shows that you want to watch. For more information, contact Station Director Dave Cable, and we will see you behind the cameras at BP TV.
All righty. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to my trivia segment this week. And first off, for trivia this week, the first thing we'd like to do is we would like to congratulate who could potentially be the Steelers' greatest wide receiver of all time. Antonio Brown reached 800 catches in his NFL career in fewer games than anybody in the history of the NFL. He did it in 129 games, and I believe Marvin Harrison did it in 131.
Who drafted him?
Marvin Harrison? I love Tony Dungy.
One time Smoking was right.
But anyhow, just
No,
to give
second
you,
time.
just to
Second
give you
time.
an idea of where Antonio Brown is on the all-time pass reception list.
This is going to be good.
He's number 34 on the list and counting. He's at 804 catches, that's starting with the 2010 season. And as I was looking on this list, noticed something I thought was pretty interesting, that actually Heinz Ward has more catches in his career than Randy Moss. Were you aware of that?
I know Hines got 1,000. Randy don't got it?
No, Randy never hit 4 digits, 982.
I never knew that.
See that? Interesting little fact. So just wanted to make sure that we gave a shout out to the Pittsburgh Steelers' Antonio Brown. Even though he does not seem to be the number one target for Ben Roethlisberger, Juju Smith-Schuster is certainly reaping the rewards of the double and triple coverage that Antonio Brown gets on every single play. And Juju Smith-Schuster is an up-and-coming star in this league. And I believe he's going to be one of the next Steelers to get that big contract. If he shows his loyalty in the team, they will show him loyalty. Unlike somebody else who decided not. But, Jim comes up with his lists. And, to be quite frank, that list of Steelers' top 10 running
It's
backs,
good.
all 28 of them, is laughable at best. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run down a list of the 15 greatest wide receivers of all time in the NFL. Now, this does not necessarily mean that these players have the most catches, okay? But they had the biggest impact on the game when they played.
Okay.
And number 15 is somebody that played for the San Diego Chargers when they were in the AFL. And he had a nickname that was Bambi.
Bambi, yeah.
Lance Allworth, who
agree with
had
that.
actually the most muscular thighs I've ever seen on a wide
He
receiver.
was fast for a white boy.
Boy, I'll tell you what, he could run like if somebody was chasing him, it would have taken him a while to catch him. Number 14 on the list, somebody that retired before, well, I guess you could say he retired in his prime. Megatron, Calvin Johnson. Yeah. Number 14. Number 13, who happens to be at number 4 all time on the receptions list, would be none other than former University of Pitt wide receiver Larry Fitzgerald.
I like that.
Number 13. Number 12, one of the top receivers in the greatest show on turf. For the Los Angeles Rams that won the 1999 Super Bowl, I believe,
Okay.
Isaac Bruce.
Well, he shouldn't be in no top 10, 15.
Next, number 11. All he did was catch touchdown passes, Chris Carter.
I like
Played
that.
for the Eagles, played for the Vikings. Now we get to number 10, a gentleman who had a career for a lot of different teams. Played with the Packers, played with the Raiders. I do believe at one point he played for Buffalo. That would be none other than James Lofton.
Stanford University. Yes,
Number 9, who was a benefit of Peyton Manning's youth. Marvin Harrison of the Indianapolis Colts.
Great one.
Also a member of the Hall of Fame. The next, I don't know if he's got more notoriety for his pass catching ability or for the fact that he ran for Senate in the state of Oklahoma, I believe, would be none other than the Seattle Seahawks' Steve Largent.
Love it. Love it.
Number 7, whether you love him or hate him,
Love him.
he had enough gumption to snub the Hall of Fame. Terrell Owens, the one player. I was a great teammate. I just didn't get along with the people I played with. Okay?
Give us a little stats on him. Everybody wants that.
There's no need to give
Okay.
stats on him. He has the biggest mouth in professional football history. Number 6, believe this or not, who made his bones in Super Bowl games when it mattered the most and made some of the most acrobatic catches in Super Bowl history. None other than Lynn Swann.
Arrogant.
Number 5, out of the U of Miami, and Troy Aikman's number 1 target, Michael Irving.
He was with the Tenderoni last year in Pittsburgh.
Next up, Heisman Trophy winner, the only one on the list, from the University of Notre Dame, Tim
like him.
Brown.
I like him.
And I don't understand what took him so long to get into the Hall of Fame. He should have been in there much
agree.
sooner than he was inducted.
Blackball.
Number 4, one of the most exciting receivers who came upon the NFL like a lightning bolt out of the University of Marshall, Randy Moss. Dante Culpepper and Randy Moss, their first year in National Football.
Randall Cunningham. That was Randall Cunningham's first.
No,
Well, he
it
was a
wasn't
Randall.
Dante
Not
Culpepper.
Randall.
E-
Randall.
Either way, I had him in my fantasy team that year, and I won money. So that was good. Number 2, somebody that most people don't even know what his name is or who he played for, but the Green Dawn Hudson. Was ranked number
Ooh,
2
Green
of
Bay
all
Packers.
time.
That's
Today's-
good. Chip, good job.
See that? And number 1, everybody knows who number 1 is. Joe Montana's favorite target, Jerry Rice. Led the league in yards from scrimmage, led the league in catches. The greatest receiver I've ever seen play, without any question.
There's no Antonio Brown's not in the top
He,
15 yet?
he's
So you got to be retired.
he's not that way yet. No, Larry Fitzgerald's there.
Yeah.
He's he's only ranked number 34 all time on the list. You know,
But you said it didn't go by.
It didn't go by that. But Antonio Brown, when it's all said and done, he may be on that list. But for now, not so much.
Great list, Chip.
Wow, thanks,
I
Chip
enjoyed
Hayner.
that.
Appreciate
Great
it.
job, man. You come up with them, man. That was good.
We're still okay. There we go.
Then after I'm on location, this is a short but sweet one. We're on hiatus in December and January. We'll be back at Olive Oil's Pizzeria February 11th. That's 930 Brookline Boulevard, 7:30 to 8:30. So we won't be doing a live on location for the next 2 months. So we'll just see you every week here on Tuesday night live in the Bethel Park studio. We're the only live show in Bethel Park. We appreciate all of you fans watching us all over from wherever you do. Thanks, and keep watching us. We're on every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night. And we'll be back with some Steeler talk. Now, Are we Whoa, welcome back. You ended the show on me. I thought the show was over. What's our time check? We need to get the time.
7:44.
About 16 minutes or less. 15 minutes. We're got the word from Zach as he's trying to explain dog ownership to Smoking Jim Frazier. We got that clarified. Smoking Jim bought a dog, gave the dog away, and is not an owner of a dog. So
Co-owner.
It doesn't count.
there are no co-owners unless they live with you.
Dog's never been to my house.
Then you don't even own the dog. This conversation is over. Steeler talk. All right, the Steelers aren't going to the Super Bowl till they win again. That'll be this week
That'll
coming
be
up.
Sunday night.
Yes, so they can win. I don't care that they threw the running game away and went with the passing game, 525 yards. Let me think about it. I'm not an offensive coordinator, but that's pretty good.
Yeah, here's what I saw with the Steelers on Sunday. And, the Steelers, they're a victim of their own success. I saw a lot of sloppy mistakes made by a lot of different people. And I
Yeah.
think that all of the mistakes simply, were too much for them to overcome at the end of the day. On the last play, everybody says, what's Ben doing throwing that ball like that? Well, there was a run-pass option. And, and the play,
RPO.
the play came apart from the moment it was snapped to Ben's left, which threw the timing off because then, one of
He
two
couldn't
things
hand it
could have
off.
happened. It's a run-pass option. He could have handed it off, to the running back, or he could have faked the handoff. He could have taken a couple of steps back and maybe had a better chance of completing the pass, but he had to reach over to his left. Then the center blocks the defensive lineman 5 feet backwards, which, I hear, he blocked him into the path of the pass. The whole problem started from the moment that the ball was snapped. Mistakes were made, and, subsequently, what happened?
Why did he throw the ball?
To be honest with you,
That's my question.
If you look at the way that play
Why
came
did he
about,
throw the ball?
it looks like he panicked.
Yeah, why did he throw the ball?
That's what I'm saying.
That's as simple as...
It looked like he panicked.
Right.
He was he bobbled the ball. He was in a rush to make the play. They would have been better off just throwing the ball out of the end zone.
He's done that before.
And it was only 3rd down, so they would have had another play, and they could have gone at it.
My
a
question
little
is,
better.
why not throw it away?
The only person that can answer that
And he answered it
is
differently
the
today.
offensive coordinator, Ben Roethlisberger.
He answered it. He answered it today. They run his plays. There's no doubt about it.
Mm-hmm.
And the off snap did it, and
But,
that's what happened. So we're stuck with him, good or bad.
You watch the first half of the game, and the only touchdown scored in the first half was a touchdown pass from Chris Boswell to Alejandro Villanueva.
Right.
Okay, we're passing the ball, moving the ball up and down the field, and we're not putting any points on the board. The only thing worse than kicking field goals is not putting any points on the board. The mistake that Xavier Grimble made, he's carrying the ball in his right hand, and then he's going to take on a safety with his right shoulder with the ball in his right hand. It was a recipe to disaster. Anybody from Pee-wees on up, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, Jim, you're told you put the ball on the outside if you're going to take on a tackler, okay? He very easily could have switched the ball. Subsequently, he may not have made the end zone, but he certainly wouldn't have fumbled it through the end zone. So, that was just a bad choice on his part. And now,
Well, he
isn't it?
said he wanted to run through the guy, which was a first bad choice.
Well, there was a lot of them maybe there. But now he's on the concussion protocol. Isn't that interesting?
No, that's even dumber.
Well,
I mean, how dumb can you
But
be?
there was mistakes made across the board. Juju Smith-Schuster had a phenomenal game. He was targeted 16 times. He had 13 catches for 189 yards. That is all pro caliber. Say what you want about him. The young man is bursting onto the scene. He's got over 1,000 yards receiving for the year.
I like Thielen better from Minnesota. I like that Minnesota's receiving.
Just give a
Handle
little
better.
disclaimer. Smoking Jim's a front-running type of guy. He didn't even know who that guy was. Luckily, he's been on some highlight films. Get out of here, Smoking
He
Jim.
was good last
You're
year.
a front runner, baby.
But
Like all Pittsburgh fans.
But
Give me the winner.
I feel very strongly that the Steelers are going to get back on track this weekend. The Steelers do have a challenging schedule coming up. Yes, we've got the New Orleans Saints on our schedule. We've got the New England Patriots. Got the Chargers this week. But I think
way
the
they beat New
Steelers.
Orleans.
I think the Steelers, believe it or not, are going to perform better against the teams that nobody gives them a chance to beat than they do against the teams
Hold it.
that they should beat.
I gotta ask Smoking Jim, what's your bets the rest of the year? Because I want to do the opposite.
One and done, 9-7-1.
Yeah, bet the opposite, folks.
No,
Go to the casino. Whatever he said,
The,
bet the
Chargers
opposite.
going to beat them. New England's going to beat them, and New Orleans going to beat them.
There's
Who
a
else? Well, there's
trifecta.
going to be one more.
How come?
Cincinnati's going to beat them, right?
I didn't say that.
Oh, well, come on. You got to, man. They got nobody
not without
playing
red rifle.
quarterback.
Not without the red rifle. they
Oh,
can't
you
beat
mean
'em.
Howdy Doody?
They'll be. Who else they got? They got Cincinnati and who? The Raiders. They'll beat the. That'll give them 9-7-1. One and done at 9-7-1.
Okay. All right, man. We'll see. There's a reason why they play the games. And I think the Steelers are going to just be fine.
Just like they were in Jacksonville.
What's that?
As fine as they were in Jacksonville.
That would be great.
Well, would that be the game they won?
Yeah, I'll take that last game.
And how?
20 unanswered
and how
points.
About, and then speaking of one and
Yeah.
done, Jacksonville has one
Yeah.
good season in a row, talks all kinds of trash, and then stinks up the joint. They're
They're a
probably going to
typical
get their head
Smoking
coach
Jim.
fired. They got their offensive coordinator fired because that franchise quarterback
Paul
they signed a
Hackett's son.
3-year. That they signed a 3-year extension to.
good point.
So now,
Good point.
Here's the brainchild, the brain surgeons in Jacksonville. They're stuck with him for the next 2 seasons because they got to. So that's a nice cap hit that they're going to take. And how about Leonard Fournette? Didn't he do a nice job? Not only did he get ejected from the game that they were trying to win, he got suspended from the next one.
I like that fight.
Brilliant mode.
I like the fight. You gotta take it for your
Now,
team.
you got to give a guy credit who's not as tall as the guy he's fighting, punching the guy in his helmet. I mean, it's one of the smartest things I've ever seen. Then even more smart was the guy who he's hitting is hitting him back in the helmet. So one of the best fights that I've ever seen,
I like it.
and I'm being sarcastic, it's one of the dumbest fights I've ever seen in my
And
life.
nobody ever said you had to be a rocket scientist to play
Good point.
football.
No.
Good point.
Unless you ask
Good
Josh
point.
Dobbs.
And he's not going around punching anybody in a helmet, is
Hey,
he?
Ben got healthy quick, huh? Dobbs thought he was going in at least for a play, huh?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, something was wrong with his knee.
I
What
think-
happened to the NFL with hitting quarterbacks in their knee?
Yeah,
I thought
you're right.
that was a potty
You're
break.
right.
They had to put that good portage on behind the bench. Yeah.
Put it like this: my betting was it was a number 2 break. So he went number 2.
Could you
Just
imagine
made it out
if they
in
would have
time.
put the portage on out there? It would have been yelling, "We know what you're doing." But
The
anyhow,
announcers said they knew what he was doing. Yeah, they said we know what he's doing.
So, I believe the Steelers are going to get back on track this week. Now, next up on our list, let's talk about what has been going on with the Pittsburgh Penguins. The Pittsburgh Penguins a week ago, when Alan and I were standing here talking, we're next to last place in the league.
Yeah.
Now they played 3 games since then. They won 2 and they lost another one in overtime. And the Penguins just what is going. This is a team that has so much talent, and this is one of those things that I get so tired of hearing. This is a team that has so much talent that they've got no business playing the way they're. Why are they stinking up the joint?
Yeah.
I don't understand it. This is a team that won.
Fury curse, what I said last year.
What is it?
I put that
Fleury. Fiore.
They backstabbed Fury.
They did not.
Fury, and
Fleury.
it's the curse. The curse
Fleury.
is on.
Marc-Andre Fleury.
And
Who
to
got
say-
5 shutouts this year
Fleury.
already?
Yeah.
Got 5 shutouts.
How many Stanley Cups has he won since he left?
Same amount the Penguins will win without him. The curse is on. They will never see another Stanley Cup.
Where did you hear the curse?
Huh?
Where did you hear this
They,
curse?
when they backstabbed him, that was it. I told you last year.
Yeah.
So in other words, in your mind, you heard this. You made this up. We
Just
understand.
like the Steelers backstabbed Le'Veon.
No, he told you about Le'Veon didn't want to play for the
Yeah,
Steelers
I told you
anymore.
that.
For 2 years, he's been telling
No,
you.
but
years.
Steelers backstabbed him, man.
No, they didn't.
Yeah, they did him
Le'Veon
wrong.
didn't want to
They
play.
did
here.
him wrong. You know,
I
tell
never
you,
said that. I never
if
said
there's
that.
any
They
person,
backstabbed Martavis, but not.
how do
not-
you think they backstabbed him?
They got rid of him. He wanted to be
Yeah,
here.
right. And he's really lighting it up in Oakland, isn't he?
Who knows if he'd have been doing it here?
He wouldn't have been.
Well, no, he would have got
Mike
busted.
Wallace. Mike Wallace did a lot better here than he did other places.
Martavius got his 30-some catches or so he was comfortable.
How
Martavis would be on a 1 year. Would be on a season-long suspension if he would have stayed here, because he would have popped hot.
maybe not.
He could have.
Because he's injured, so they're probably not P testing him. So, but being that he flunked 7 or 8 tests, yeah. So
That's not bad.
That's old news.
that's old news. So hey, on a different note, we touched on the Penguins. They're playing in Vancouver tonight, and then I believe on
No, Winnipeg.
Is it Winnipeg?
Yeah, Winnipeg.
Okay,
Winnipeg.
Winnipeg tonight.
It's
Colorado.
only 5 degrees out there in Winnipeg.
Colorado on Thursday.
Yeah.
So they've got a 2-game road swing. 2 games that they should win handily, and I guess we'll see what
Malkin
happens.
is back.
Well, you know,
Malkin is
He
back.
never went anywhere.
he never went anywhere.
He's
So-
ready, but I mean, he's ready to
He's
light
been
him
there.
up. He's
He-
ready to
he's
light him
already been lighting them up all year. He's one of the top 5 scorers all year.
The person
When'd you
that's
notice
been
him?
lighting him up is Jake Getzel. That's the person
yeah.
who's been
Oh,
li-
yeah.
has been
You
ringing.
don't even know who he is. You don't
But
even
the
know
Pirates
Jake.
made a move today. The Pirates
They
made
got
a
a
move.
right fielder.
They picked up an
million?
outfielder, and first immediately I see the signing, and then I see people laughing and making jokes about it. But I mean, they're the same people that were making those comments. Were making the same comments when the Pirates picked up Corey Dickinson, and all he did was basically bat 300 for the season. And oh, by the way, did he win a Gold Glove? I think he did.
Smoking
So-
Jim, is he a white guy or a black guy?
He sounds white because he sounds country when I heard his interview. Yeah.
You don't know who we're talking about.
Yeah, you mean for the Pirates? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not
he
who we
sound
just
white.
got.
Who?
Corey Dickerson.
Oh, wow. He sounds black, but you guys say he's white. I always thought all my Dickersons was black. But Dickinson, huh?
Yeah.
Wasn't there an actress like
So
that?
the Pirates have made a move to help fill
In
a
the
gap,
off season, yeah.
fill a gap that they're going to have to start the stealing season with, because Gregory Polanco probably won't be available to play till July.
I was at that game with you when he took one of the worst slides I've ever seen in history.
and
Smoking Jim used to slide like that and pony lift. That's why he didn't complete his career in pony lift.
No.
He somersaulted into second base.
But,
I was a head first slider.
Yeah,
like,
that's what Polanco tried. He tore it all up.
But that's the first move that the Pirates are going to make this offseason. And I'm absolutely sure it's not going to be the last.
No,
Will
they
it fill
needed
some
to.
seats? Will it help fill some seats?
You know what helps to fill seats, Jim?
What's that?
Winning.
Okay.
And oh, by the way, didn't they win last year?
Did they?
Yes,
They had a
did.
winning record. You
That's
bet
right,
against him. You lost.
I did.
Again, whatever he bets, we're going to end this show. Whatever he says to bet the opposite. If you're not going to bet, don't start. If you do listen to Smoking Jim, please do the opposite. Thanks for watching our show. We had some fun. Glad we could provide some insights, especially not on gambling. Do not gamble. We're not for it, except Smoking Jim is, and he already lost 7, 8 houses already this year, so good luck. Thanks for watching our show, and please stay Joey strong.